The Blackstone Hotel glowed like a jewel against the night. Golden light spilled from its tall windows, washing over the marble steps and the line of luxury cars idling at the curb. Laughter floated through the air, men in tailored suits slapping each other on the back, women in shimmering gowns posing beneath crystal chandeliers for photos that would live forever online. The scent of champagne and expensive perfume lingered long after the doors closed behind the guests. Leo Blake stepped out holding his father's hand, his small fingers wrapped tightly around Brian Blake's palm. Brian didn't slow. He was already halfway into another deal, his Bluetooth earpiece glowing faintly as he spoke in a low, confident voice. "Yes, we can close by Monday. Have the documents on my desk first thing." Leo looked up at him, searching his face, but Brian's attention was elsewhere. The world Brian lived in didn't pause. It moved forward, always forward. In Leo's other hand was a worn plush lion, its fur thin in places, one ear slightly bent. It didn't belong in this polished world. It belonged to a different life, a quieter house, a voice that used to sing at night and smell like soap and warmth. They descended the marble steps and turned onto a side street where the lights faded and the warmth disappeared. The air grew colder. Puddles reflected the dull glow of flickering signs from closed shops. The city felt different here, less impressive, more real. Leo stepped slow without him realizing it, as if something unseen were pulling at him. Then he heard it, a soft voice, fragile but steady, carried by the wind. "Musical note, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine." Musical note. Leo stopped. Ahead, tucked beside a shuttered storefront, a woman sat hunched over a battered stroller. Her coat hung loosely on her thin frame, sleeves frayed at the cuffs. Blonde hair escaped a loose tie, strands brushing her cheek as she leaned forward. She was rocking the stroller gently. Inside wasn't a baby. It was a small, old teddy bear wrapped carefully in a faded blanket. The woman shielded it from the wind with her body, murmuring softly as though it were alive. Brian noticed a sudden resistance in Leo's hand. He glanced sideways, took in the scene for half a second, and immediately looked away. His grip tightened. "Don't stare, Leo," he said sharply. "Keep walking." Leo hesitated, but allowed himself to be pulled forward. Brian didn't look back. In his mind, the woman was already labeled and dismissed. Young, unkempt, unstable, probably high. Another problem for someone else to solve. He had written his charity check tonight. He had done his part. The song lingered anyway. He shook it off. "It's been a long night. I'm tired." But Leo looked back again. The woman leaned closer to the stroller, whispering, "Sleep, baby." The sound struck Leo's chest like a memory coming alive. That voice, that exact softness, the way the SH floated into the air like a kiss goodnight. His mother used to sound like that. Leo stopped walking. "Dad," he said quietly, his voice small but certain. "That's Mom." Brian froze. The street seemed to fall silent around them. Slowly, Brian turned. The woman was still there, finishing the last line of the song. A streetlight flickered overhead, shadows shifting across her face. But Brian saw enough. The slope of her jaw, the familiar shade of blonde, and the faint, uneven scar tracing her right cheek. Something inside him staggered. "No," he said aloud, more to himself than to Leo. "That's not possible." He crouched to meet his son's eyes, forcing calm into his voice. "Leo, your mom is gone. You know that." Leo didn't blink. He looked back at the woman, then whispered, "She's not gone. She's just not home yet." Brian opened his mouth, but no words came. He straightened. "Come on," he said too quickly. "Let's go." But this time, he didn't pull Leo. He just stood there, and in that quiet pause between one step and the next, something solid inside Brian Blake began to crack. Morning arrived with a bitter wind. Donna sat curled beside a shuttered bakery, arms wrapped around the faded stuffed bear resting inside a second-hand stroller. The wheels squeaked softly each time she rocked it back and forth. "It's cold today," she murmured, tightening the scarf around the bear's frayed neck. "We'll find somewhere warmer soon, baby. Mommy promises." She never spoke loudly. Loud voices drew attention. Attention brought eyes. She hated eyes. They didn't really see her, only judged. Crazy, dirty, useless. But she wasn't crazy. She just didn't remember everything. She didn't remember where she came from or why her chest ached most mornings with something deeper than hunger. She only knew the world had become shadows, and the only light left was Leo. The Leo she fed imaginary spoonfuls of oatmeal to. The Leo she rocked through long afternoons. The Leo who never cried. The Leo who was only a bear. Still, she called him my boy. Sometimes strangers dropped coins or half-eaten sandwiches near her feet. She accepted them politely, always careful. He's hungry, too, she'd say, tearing the crust into tiny pieces and placing them gently into the stroller. She never begged. Mothers didn't beg. They waited. They watched. They protected. She sang. That was how she remembered him. Musical note, you are my sunshine. Musical note. One rainy night, Donna found shelter beneath metal stairs behind a closed pharmacy. She bundled the bear close, covering him with the same patchy blanket. You make me happy when skies are gray, she sang softly, her voice trembling from cold. When she finished, she pressed her lips to the bear's worn forehead. Mommy's here, she whispered. Don't be scared. For a moment, she wasn't cold. She wasn't invisible. She was just a mother waiting. That same night, Brian couldn't sleep. He lay beside Lisa, the quiet woman he'd married out of companionship rather than love. She slept facing away from him, the distance between them wider than the bed. Brian's thoughts were elsewhere, on a voice, soft, trembling, familiar. He got up, opened his laptop, and played an old video. A first birthday. Balloons. Cake. Laughter. Donna sat on the couch, blonde hair falling around her face. Baby Leo cradled against her chest. Musical note, you are my sunshine. Musical note. Same key, same phrasing, same lingering note. Brian paused the video, breath caught in his throat. Then he opened the accident report. No body found. Presumed dead. Passenger side glass rupture. A scar. Brian closed the laptop slowly. What if she's alive? And what if he had walked past her? Leo lay awake that night, clutching his stuffed lion. He remembered the warmth, the voice, the song. He pulled out his crayons and began to draw. A woman in a green sweater, soft yellow hair, a teddy bear between them. Later, Lisa stepped into his room. That's beautiful, she said. That's Mom, Leo replied. My first mom. She's not dead, he added softly. She's just lost. Lisa said nothing, but the word stayed. The next night, Brian returned to the street, this time without a suit, this time with a cup of tea. He crouched a few steps away. I used to know someone who sang that song, he said gently. The woman stiffened. Do you have a son? He asked. Yes, she whispered. His name is Leo. Brian's heart nearly stopped. I'll come back tomorrow, he said quietly. She didn't answer, but she didn't pull away. When Brian returned the next day, he brought safety instead of questions. And when Leo finally stepped into the apartment and placed his bear beside hers, something long buried began to wake. Donna didn't sleep much that first night in the apartment. The room was warm, too warm for someone used to concrete and wind. But safety has its own weight. She lay curled beneath the quilt, the two stuffed bears tucked side by side on the pillow, their worn faces turned toward her like quiet witnesses. Every sound felt loud in the silence. The hum of the heater, the tick of a small wall clock, the distant rush of traffic below. Sometime after midnight, her lips moved without her knowing. Leo. The name slipped free like a breath she had been holding for years. Her body jerked awake. Images crashed into her all at once. Headlights slicing through rain, the shriek of tires, the violent crack of glass, arms reaching forward. A child's cry, Mommy, sharp and terrified. Then darkness. Not sleep, not peace, just nothing. Donna sat bolt upright, clutching the blanket to her chest. Her gaze fell on the bears. Her chest broke open. Leo, she whispered again, voice shattering. My Leo. This time, she didn't cry like someone lost. She cried like a mother who remembered. From the living room, Brian heard it. He sat frozen on the couch, tears sliding freely down his face for the first time in 5 years. He didn't go to her. He knew this moment belonged to her alone, to memory, to truth finally clawing its way back. The DNA results arrived on a Thursday morning. Brian sat at his desk, the envelope resting beneath his fingers like a verdict he already knew. He opened it anyway. Donna Bennett is the biological mother of Leo Blake. He leaned back, eyes lifting to the ceiling as his breath finally left him. The question that had haunted him was gone. What remained was responsibility. That evening, he returned to the apartment he shared with Lisa. She was sitting on the couch with a book, but she looked up the moment he entered. Something in his face told her everything. "It's her," she said softly. "Isn't it?" Brian nodded. "She's Leo's mother." Lisa closed her book. Her eyes held no anger, only understanding. "And she was your wife long before she was mine." He didn't argue. Their marriage had been quiet, built from shared grief and convenience. They had both known it. "You were always halfway somewhere else," Lisa continued gently. "I didn't resent it. I just hoped." "I'm sorry," Brian said. She smiled, a sad, kind smile. "Don't be. Go where your heart never stopped waiting." She kissed his forehead and walked away without drama, without bitterness. It was the kindest goodbye either of them could have given. When Brian told Don about the test, she nodded as if she had already known. "I guess that means I really existed," she said quietly. He stepped closer. "You still do." "I'm not the woman you loved," she replied. "I don't even know who she was anymore." He looked at her. The scar, the caution in her eyes, the strength stitched together from survival. "No," he said, "you're not the same. Neither am I, but you're Leo's mom. And you're here." That was enough. Healing didn't arrive all at once. Donna met with a therapist named Mara once a week. Some days they talked. Some days they sat in silence. Slowly, the fog lifted. She learned how to live again. Burning rice, laughing through tears, writing 1 sentence a day in a journal. "Today I smile without guilt. Today I laugh with Leo. Today I didn't feel broken." The apartment filled with life. Photos appeared on the fridge. Leo's laughter echoed down the hallway. The piano by the window waited patiently. The first time Donna played again, her hand shook. "Musical note, you are my sunshine." Musical note. Her voice cracked, but she didn't stop. Leo stood in the doorway, listening. He smiled. Leo started a project of his own, a shoebox time capsule. Inside, he placed a photo from the hospital, a drawing of 3 people under a tree, the old teddy bear, and a note written carefully in block letters. "Mom didn't die. She just got lost. And now she's home." Months later, the hall shimmered with candlelight. Donna sat at the white piano, wearing a simple blue dress. Her scar was still there, but it no longer defined her. Leo sat in the front row between his parents, his hands gripping theirs tightly. The first notes rang out. "Musical note, you are my sunshine." Musical note. It wasn't a lullaby anymore. It was survival. The room held its breath. When the song ended, no one clapped at first. Then applause rose, slow, gentle, and full. Outside, rain misted the sidewalks. Leo ran ahead, laughing, splashing through puddles. Brian reached for an umbrella, then folded it shut. Donna smiled. "Wasn't that the point of bringing it?" "We don't need it," he said. They stepped into the rain together. No one hurried. No one hid. And as the city lights blurred around them, Brian realized something simple and true. Some people aren't gone. They're just waiting to be found.